A 22-year-old boy, Joe, had recently moved with his family to the city of Berlin. The family, his father, mother, and younger sister, had started settling into this new environment. Joe was a bright student, excelling academically, and also had a passion for playing the piano. One afternoon, while the rest of his family went out to the local market, Joe chose to take his scooter to the beach. There, his eyes were drawn to a woman, alone, by the water, changing after a swim. She appeared to be in her early 40s. Her name was Rose. In that moment, there was no one else at the beach. Joe found himself unable to look away. But when Rose noticed him watching, he panicked and tried to turn away awkwardly. Instead of reacting harshly, Rose calmly called out to him and gently removed the rest of her clothes, sensing that Joe was no threat. Startled and overwhelmed, Joe hurriedly left on his scooter. Later that day, while shopping with his family, he saw Rose again, this time at a sandal shop. She tried on a new pair and tucked her old sandals in her bag before leaving. Now clearly intrigued by her presence, Joe decided to follow her discreetly to a nearby hotel. Not knowing which room she was staying in, Joe noticed her sandals placed outside one of the doors and guessed it must be hers. Nervously, he rang the bell. Rose answered. Seeing her up close again, Joe froze and awkwardly claimed he had come to the wrong room. Rose invited him inside. She seemed to understand his feelings, but instead of rushing, she started a calm conversation, gradually bridging the emotional distance between them. As she reached out to him, Joe pulled away, frightened. He had never experienced anything like this before, and ran out of the hotel. The next day, Joe couldn't stop thinking about Rose. He returned to the same hotel, hoping to see her again, but she was no longer there. Finding an excuse, he got her contact details from the hotel receptionist. At college, even during class, Joe's mind wandered back to Rose. As soon as class ended, he rushed toward her neighborhood and began quietly observing her. That's when he discovered she worked as a mail carrier. One day, he secretly placed a flower on her bicycle. Rose found it, but didn't know who it was from. Eventually, Joe gathered the courage to talk to her. Rose recognized him from the hotel and asked, "Did you leave me the flower?" Joe shyly admitted he did. Calmly but firmly, Rose told him to stop and focus on his own life. But Joe couldn't keep away. One evening, as she returned from shopping, Joe approached again, offering help. Rose declined, but Joe confessed that he liked her. Gently, she reminded him that nothing could happen between them and asked him not to follow her anymore. As Joe rode away on his scooter, frustrated and confused, he lost control and fell, injuring his hand. Hearing the crash, Rose rushed out and helped him up. Concerned, she took him inside her home and treated his wound. In the quiet of her apartment, they talked. Joe learned that Rose wasn't married, but was in a relationship, one that wasn't going well. Her partner had become distant, and things had grown cold between them. Though she still hoped the relationship might improve, something in her expression revealed lingering sadness. Unable to contain his feelings, Joe softly reached for her hand and said, "What you wanted from me that day, I want to give that to you now." He gently kissed her, confessing that he understood her loneliness. For a moment, Rose didn't pull away. From that point on, Joe and Rose began seeing each other more often. Even though Rose knew deep down that their relationship was wrong, that she was betraying her boyfriend, she couldn't help herself. Being around Joe made her feel alive again, something she hadn't felt in a long time. And for Joe, Rose brought a kind of happiness he had never experienced before. Soon, Joe started skipping his classes just to spend more time with her. They shared quiet moments, deep conversations, and an emotional closeness that only grew stronger with time. One day, Joe confided in Rose that he used to be passionate about piano and had once planned to compete in an upcoming contest. But now, with everything going on, he hadn't practiced at all and felt unprepared. Rose encouraged him not to give up on his dreams and told him he should play and win. The next day, Joe sat down at the piano in his living room, trying to play again. As he practiced, his mother got ready to go out. She reminded him to take care of his little sister while she was gone. But shortly after she left, caught up in emotion, Joe left his sister home alone and rushed to Rose's house, even though it was raining heavily. When he arrived at her doorstep, drenched and shivering, Rose immediately noticed and offered him dry clothes. As he changed, The air between them became heavy, and their closeness deepened. But just then, the doorbell rang. It was Rose's boyfriend. Both Joe and Rose panicked. She quickly hid Joe out on the balcony and handed him his wet clothes to keep up appearances. Her boyfriend came in, unsuspecting. Rose kept a close eye on him, making sure he didn't go near the balcony where Joe, soaked and freezing, was quietly waiting outside. Eventually, when the moment felt safe, Rose brought Joe a blanket to warm him up. That night, she had dinner with her boyfriend and later went to bed with him. Joe could hear them from the balcony, and it shattered something inside him. He was in love, and hearing the woman he cared about share that kind of moment with someone else made his heart ache. When Rose's boyfriend finally fell asleep, she quietly told Joe to leave. He climbed down, got on his scooter, and rode back home, silent tears running down his face. The emotional weight of what he had heard and what he felt was unbearable. When he got home, Joe locked himself in his room and lay in bed, overwhelmed by sadness and anger. Joe's parents stood at his door, calling out for him to open it, but he didn't respond. He had shut everyone out, including them. They were deeply worried, not just because he had started skipping college, but also because he had stopped practicing piano, something he once loved. The next day, Joe's parents convinced him to come along to the piano competition. But when his name was announced on stage, Joe remained silent. Without a word, he simply walked away. His parents didn't say anything. They just watched him go, their hearts heavy with concern. As they returned home, Joe noticed someone standing near their house. It was Rose. She had come to see him, but, still angry and hurt, Joe ignored her completely. He didn't say a word. At class, things weren't going well either. Joe had lost interest. He wasn't attending classes regularly, and his grades were slipping. At home, he barely spoke to anyone. His parents were already dealing with their own struggles, and now, Joe's silence and detachment added to their worries. The next day, Joe was walking home from school with his little sister when Rose approached him again. He didn't want to talk, but Rose softly asked him to call her that evening. She wanted a chance to explain. She even met Joe's sister, offering a gentle smile. Later that night, Joe met Rose at their secret spot, an apartment where they knew no one would disturb them. Rose tried to explain. Joe pleaded with her to leave her boyfriend and be with him. But Rose shook her head. She had been with her boyfriend for many years, and despite everything, she couldn't walk away just like that. She looked into Joe's eyes and said, "What happened between us? It wasn't right. We need to stop before anyone gets hurt." Joe's heart sank. He disagreed. He said, "But I love you. I'm willing to leave everything behind just to be with you." To lighten the moment, Joe sat down and played the piano for her, something he hadn't done in days. The music filled the room, and for a brief moment, the sadness in both of their hearts melted into a shared silence. Despite everything that had happened, Rose and Joe couldn't stay apart. They chose to forget the complications and simply be together. The next day, they went for a walk in the park, laughing and enjoying each other's company like nothing else in the world mattered. But Rose's boyfriend was still at her place, so she took Joe to her mother's empty house, a quiet place where they could be alone. There, they cooked together, shared quiet moments, and escaped reality for a while. Back home, Joe's little sister had started noticing his absence. Curious, their mother asked her, "Where does your brother go all the time?" The sister hesitated, then replied, "I saw him with a woman outside school. She looked your age." That hit the mother hard. Concerned, she checked Joe's phone and was shocked to see pictures of Rose. It all made sense now. Meanwhile, Joe's grades had dropped, and even his teachers were disappointed. But Joe didn't care. All he could think about was Rose. He just wanted to be with her. That night, Joe was once again at Rose's house. As they grew close, a strange sound came from the other room. Joe went to check, and what he saw left him speechless. His mother with another man. Not just any man, his father's friend. Shocked and angry, Joe rushed outside with Rose. She asked him what happened. With a heavy heart, he replied, "That was my mother, with someone she shouldn't be with." Later that night, Rose returned home. But this time, her boyfriend was waiting, and he was furious. He had found out about her affair with Joe. Rose tried to deny it, but in a fit of rage, he slapped her. The blow left a mark near her eye. Feeling guilty, he quickly tried to care for her, offering her rest and medicine. But by then, the truth was too heavy to hide. Rose confessed everything. She told him about everything, about how she had fallen in love when she felt alone in their relationship. She said, "I didn't mean for it to happen, but Joe gave me the happiness I was craving, the happiness I never found in us." Hearing this, her boyfriend broke down. He realized how distant he had been, how he had taken her for granted. With remorse in his voice, he apologized. Rose, too, admitted her mistake. "We both made errors," she said, "but maybe it's not too late to fix this." Meanwhile, Joe was sitting alone in his room when his mother walked in and tried to talk to him about Rose. But Joe refused to speak. Later, his mother told Joe's father everything she knew about his relationship with Rose, leaving him shocked. The next day, Joe's mother went to meet Rose and asked her to stay away from Joe. She blamed Rose for ruining her son's life and feared that his future would be destroyed if he stayed in this relationship. She even offered Rose money to leave Joe, but Rose refused. Later that day, Joe met Rose outside her college. Seeing the bruise near her eye, he asked if her boyfriend did it, but Rose denied it. She then told Joe that they needed to end things. Deep down, Rose always knew their relationship had no future, and she couldn't keep lying to her boyfriend anymore. She reminded Joe of the big age gap between them, and said she was going to marry her boyfriend and start a new life. Joe, who truly loved her, couldn't accept this reality and fell into deep sadness and isolation. On the day of his exam, Joe went missing, leaving his parents deeply worried. His father suspected he might be with Rose, so he went to her place. That day was Rose's wedding, and she was getting ready when she heard about Joe. She immediately went with Joe's father to search for him. They reached her mother's empty house, where Rose believed he might be. Inside, they found Joe unconscious. Rose quickly poured cold water on him to wake him up. Still intoxicated, Joe began speaking incoherently. He accused his mother of cheating on his father with his father's friend. His father admitted he already knew and had given her time to fix things. Joe was stunned. They then rushed him to his college. Before he went in, Rose gently told him that she too loved him, but now it was time to move on. Joe accepted this painful truth and went to take his exam. Eventually, Rose married her boyfriend. A few months later, Joe began to heal. He had moved on, found a new girlfriend, and started living his life with joy again. His mother learned from her mistakes and reconciled with Joe's father. And with that, the story ends. What do you think about Joe and Rose's relationship? Was it love, or just a moment that taught them both something deeper? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video. Till then, stay healthy, stay safe.